Here's the deal. So prime example, like I said, I had a client who purchased a home last year. She wasn't my client when she purchased the home. And I've talked about this last week. She had equity in the home, even though she bought it a year ago. But people around her were panicking and dropping their prices significantly. Mm-hmm. And I think the problem is sellers who need to get out right now have to get out for specific reasons. And I want to talk about how 2020, the end of 2020, we were talking about all these foreclosures for forbearance and why we might see more foreclosures coming forward. So, but think about it. So maybe some of the people who are selling right now are people that would have sold at the end of 2020 or the early 2021, but they got forbearance. They didn't have to, they lost their job or whatever. And now they're trying to sell at the end of this year because the market's gone up so much. So I think, that's probably anecdotal more than anything, but I think that, potentially, you might have, you have it right there. I have it up. So here's a foreclosure slide. So here's all the foreclosures that we've seen year over year over year. So the middle of these bars are, you're looking at 08, 09, and 010, or the highest parts of this. 3 million. And somebody had made a comment, Jeff Underwood, thank you, on my last video I did yesterday, or my video that came out yesterday. He commented, well, I had said that the market crashes quickly, and you have somebody out there that says it takes 3 or 4 years for a market to crash. I want to make a huge point about this. My response to Jeff, thank you for writing the comment, Jeff. So again, the comment from Jeff was that some people out there saying that it takes years for the market to actually crash. And I said, no, wait, it crashed quickly. But anecdotally, what happened is you had foreclosures don't take very long to get to foreclosure. If you look at this slide right here, we saw an increase of inventory because it took forever for those foreclosures to make it through the process, hit the market, and actually foreclose. But this is a lot of foreclosures. But these foreclosures took time to hit the market. So, and then they sat even longer when you had a depreciating market. Now, if you look at this right now where we're at, we're lower. This doesn't show 2022's numbers. And I actually put this in my video on Tuesday. So watch that video. But if you look at the foreclosures that are happening right now, this chart says we're at, what was 2021? 151. 151. So on the chart I showed, it was like 254,000. And if you look at 2020, it was about the same as, like, almost identical to 2020. The difference this time, though, is of the 215,000 homes that are basically 0.04% of the entire market, which is not very much. 0.04. Right. The difference is the fact that 190 of those have equity.
Were equity heavy in their home, which is very different from 2008, where people didn't have any equity and they had just bought a lot of homes.
Right. So what we're seeing is people that are potentially dropping that price because they know they just need to get it to sell, and they're dropping it in Austin. And not just Austin. We're sitting and talking to agents all over the country right now here at Tom Ferry, and I'm talking to agents that are like, "Oh yeah, we're still getting multiple offers.
Oh yeah,
I'm still getting multiple." Now, I think that the Austin area did a lot of things wrong recently, and we can talk about that. And we'll talk about the budget, which we're going to talk about soon. But I think Austin is a catalyst for some of the things that even articles I read that I wanted to bring up on this channel. They're talking about like the 5 markets that are dropping their prices the most.
Austin's in there.
No, it's not.
Whoa.
There's an article.
It depends on who says it. Yeah, I think Zillow said it.
So there's a Zillow article, or an article I just read yesterday. I wanted to bring up for a video in the future, and it was like the 5 markets that saw over 50% price decreases, and Austin was not on that list. So, or not 50%, but saw 50% of the homes price decrease total. So, I mean, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence here, but I think if you're looking at kind of the fundamentals, it's going to be hard for us to see the actual crash that people are calling for. Does that get it wider?
In? It does.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's a little better. Okay.
Come on, Ian.
Listen.
Look at this. You get 2 people side by side, so it's easier to have a conversation and actually do 2 things at once.
I like it.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So we'll talk about the one above it, but didn't the government affect foreclosures because they allowed homeowners to not pay their mortgages? Yes. And so if you think about it, we probably would have had a lot of foreclosures that would probably be hitting the market right now, or probably hitting the market late last year. And so that's the thing, though, prices probably wouldn't have increased as much had we had those foreclosures.
Right.
They would have been back down to the 10, 15% mark. versus the 25 they were at or 30, whatever they hit in Austin.
One of the bigger differences is people nowadays seem to have a lot more stored cash, right? Or access to cash, where in 2008, as companies were laying off, no one was prepared. No one had educated them that something like this might happen. And this time around, a lot of people they don't like it, but they're better prepared, or they have equity in their home, or they have flexibility to be able to sustain. But like you had mentioned before,
think about it, there's so much more news about the crash, so people are prepared.
There's a lot more information. Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, it's good. It's fine. There's a lot more information. People are able to pivot a little bit better, and because they're so equity rich or equity wealthy, I don't think it can hit as hard. And this chart is that kind of indicator.
I mean, and if you go back to that one chart that showed the price increases over their projection, I mean, you're talking a lot of economists. They pull a lot of economists to come up with this one here. This one. Yeah. So if you look at this, I mean, we're looking at over the next 5 years. Why would you, the question that I think it was Felipe? No, Ian had written, why would you hold an asset while it drops? I mean, a lot of economists are basically saying it's going to continue to go up. It's just not going to go up at the same pace we saw the last 2 years.
Yeah. And I think when he said an asset, I don't know if he was talking about, I don't know what he was referring to, but I'm assuming real estate, this real estate channel. So, again, I've got a lot of people that are not cashing out. They're excited that the rents are rising as long as the tax burden isn't outpacing the increase in rent. Yeah.
So only about 250, so this is what I said, 215,000 homeowners are facing possible foreclosure in the second quarter of 2022, or just 0.4, which is, like I said, of 1%. So 58 million homes. Of those facing foreclosure, 91% at least have equity built up in their homes.
Right. So should not have to go through foreclosure as long as they're educated or take advantage of resources.
Well, I mean, do you think, I don't know this because I haven't thought about it in a while, but are they still doing like forbearances and things like that?
I don't know if they'll continue.
Yeah, I think that would definitely change things if they did.
It is. And yeah, it's a scary thought to say, oh, no, we'll give you more time. Oh, no, we'll give you more time. And then just keep doing that, because at the end of the day, the debt will, the debt will ring true or toll.
Well, speaking of debt, I don't want to get too crazy in this topic today, but the Biden administration is now talking about or proposing eliminating, it was like $10,000 for people that make up to $125,000 of student loan debt. Yeah. And then secondly, if you did a Pell Grant, it was $20,000. So, I mean, that's just going to add to, like, how does that debt get erased?
Here's the question. How many people are not buying their first home due to student loan debt?
A lot. I mean, I have family that have $200,000 in debt.
So think about it from, a business perspective, which is what the government's trying to do.
Right.
And if you say, okay, if I clear this out, they'll be more qualified borrowers. And just hear me out.
No, but Jeremy wrote, I identify my mortgage as a student loan.
Nice. But they have more qualified borrowers so that they can now purchase a home. And now the government has you for 30 years.
Right. But if you think about it, those people still have the potential, because they went to college, have the potential to make more money.
That's not going to change.
Right. But if you think about it, if you and I both went to college, but let's say I went to college and you didn't, and you worked your butt off.
Let's say you didn't and I did.
Okay, let's reverse it. Whatever. One of us went to college and the other didn't. One of us went off and did a trade job or figured it out and created a company. And I've paid taxes the entire time and all that. I didn't pay. And now I got to pay off somebody else's debt that they incurred while I worked and they got an education, and they have the ability to go and make more money potentially. I think a lot of people would say that's unfair. Now I'm not saying, I'm just like bringing that up as a whataboutism, but
what if?
Yeah, a what if. Yeah, that's one thing. What if? I never want to say what if. More inflation. Yeah. So I don't know. Right below, do you think if they were to do that, number one, did you pay off your student loans? Would you be upset? right? Would you be upset if you paid off your student loans? If you're somebody who is currently having the burden of a lot of student debt, I want to hear from you in the comments as well. I don't want people to argue with each other over it. I just want to hear from you, like what your thoughts on it overall. Be nice in the comments. This isn't a political channel.
This is not a political channel, but don't be nice. Be honest.
Thanks for watching this short of the Real Amigos podcast. For more live streams, hit here. For more clips, hit here. We'll catch you on the next one.